you're putting your life at risk every day, and we know that. But you're also providing a service that you have no idea how it touches our lives. So, could not thank you enough, and please know how much we all appreciate that.
Thank you.
Listen, thank you. Thanks for doing this with us. I thought we might never see you again, and we're so grateful for the opportunity to connect at a different time, but still in the midst of this crisis.
Absolutely. It was my pleasure. I've been working here at the hospital for about 15 years, and I've played the role as a patient representative in the patient experience department. So I do a lot with the patient's family. But that day, when they asked me if I would start doing some FaceTiming so families could connect, I felt like I was there for a reason, and thank God I was.
It was your day off, right? My head is still fuzzy, but I remember the conversation that we had going into the room, and you were saying you shouldn't have been there that day.
It was my day off. I normally work Monday through Friday, but my partner and myself have been picking up weekend days to either help in the command center or help up on the units, assisting FaceTime communication with families so that we could be that person to touch and connect the family members together.
Joe, we had waited when my brother went to the hospital a week prior, and throughout the process, every day, we knew some folks at the hospital who had promised that we could be connected at some point in some way. And the phone just never left my side, hoping that we would have some kind of connection. And when we were able to connect with you, all the scrambling that went on behind the scenes, it was crazy. Like I reached out to my brother and my sister, my sister-in-law and my niece, and we were all trying to figure out the plan to be able to connect. But I wish we were more ready in a sense, but it was what it was.
I remember your brother was in 1315, which is the last room in the hallway. So I remember going down and saying, the nurse's name was Lou, and I'm like, Lou, the family's on the phone. Can you pick up the phone? They want to talk to you. They want an update. Want to know what's going on. And he's like, Joe, I have an emergency going on in the next room. I'm like, all right. So then I went back down there. I'm like, Lou, they're still on the phone. Can you go in there? And he's like, I said, you know what? I have my iPad. I'm going to go in myself. And that's when we connected, and I turned the FaceTime on, and it worked out perfect.
Well, you have no idea what you've done for our family by doing that. As you know, you're seeing this every day, and you and the heroes that work at Clara Maass are seeing this every day. And to understand that feeling of isolation it's just overwhelming. I mean, that on top of everything else from the medical perspective, but to have at least some connection, and the connection that you gave us. My family is forever grateful, and I have my brother and sister who also want to connect with you at a later time, but you have no idea what that's done for us. So we want to thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was my pleasure that day, especially after realizing the patient and I had a connection as well. I've known him for many years working here at the hospital. He was a good man, very good man. I was honored to do that.
you see him in a different way. Like to us, he was just our silly brother. But we do understand that he was, well loved and well respected, and I think the hospital will miss him. He'll I've heard from patients. They've connected with me through Facebook. I've heard from a lot of his colleagues. It's funny it's odd to see that in a different way. But if you guys loved him as much as we did, then he's lived a full and rich life. So we're thankful for that.
One of our pulmonologists stopped me in the hallway yesterday and he said, your brother was a really good friend of his, and he read the article and he thanked me and he said, thank you. You're keep doing what you're doing. You're putting your life at risk every day, and we know that. But you're also providing a service that you have no idea how it touches our lives. So, could not thank you enough, and please know how much we all appreciate that. Thank you. I just explained that I did 5 already this morning, and 2 out of the 5, the patients were extremely critical. And knowing that the families had the last moments to be on a virtual or a video conferencing with their loved ones, and they had the opportunity to say goodbye. And the last one, their pastor said a prayer together, and there wasn't a dry eye in the room, because the whole team was in the room, and it's worth $1 million what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And that people say everybody feels differently. Like to us, we feel like he could hear us, and that gives us some sense of comfort. I was saying earlier that the conversation that we had on Sunday was after he had just had that traumatic experience, and you guys brought him back. And our conversation, I know you weren't in the room, but it was more of him fight this. We you still have a lot to do. And if we had that one more, excuse me, if we had that one last opportunity, the conversation would have been different, and it would have been, that the fight is over, and he fought the good fight, and he could let go. And so I kind of missed that sense of closure, but at least I feel like he could hear us, and he knew that we were there, and he knew that people loved him. So, that meant the world to us.
I'm glad I was able to do it for you and your family. When I hear the families say we love you, it's my son came back from being deployed in the Marine Corps, and that's what I think of every time I'm holding the iPad and the person says I love you. I think of every time we leave each other's company, we say it, and he says, Dad, we're not promised tomorrow. I'm going to tell you I love you every day.
Right. This whole thing is it's not normal. There's nothing about any part of what we're all dealing with that it's no normal that we've ever had before, even from the fact that people that you love have to die in isolation and by themselves. And so just any sense of connection that we can have with each other is really, that was very important.